Hi folks, welcome back. So in the previous video, we have seen around three different customization examples where we have touched based on some of the generator specific examples, and then the some of the features which are used for the validation purpose, which are like common labels, the prefixes, common annotations, and then in the generator section we touch based upon the secret generator and all. So with that continuation, let's see one more example on the generator, which is config map generator, and then after that we would be seeing couple of examples on multi-base and multi-base objects as well, and then one for patching. So with that, then we will proceed with Helm and all. So let's go to that particular example where we can use the config generator. So in this example, you can see just like a typical customization YAML definition, we have base and overlay. So in the base, I have defined the Nginx deployment basically with the name of my app with one replica, and in the customization, the same deployment is subjected for customization. And then in dev, I do have something called as config map generator, where I am creating a config map called my app config with a literal my app env and my app debug. Similarly, I'm generating a secret called my app secret with this secret password, which is the db password. And also I'm patching the deployment with number of replicas changed to 2. So you can see in the main it is 1. Now here I'm changing it to 2. Similarly in the prod, I'm changing. Similarly in the name, in the place of dev, I'm giving prod. That's all, not much difference. Whereas secret, I'm keeping the same secret. And patch deployment number of replicas, I'm increasing it to 5. So this example sounds similar to you compared to previous. However, I know I'm adding one extra section, which is the config map generator here, and I'm consuming both config map reference and secret map reference method in the deployment. So that's a straightforward example. So let's go and see whether this customization is working as expected or not. So let's go to customize config generator. So now customize, build, overlay, dev. Okay, so you can see here it's generating again. Same thing, whatever I explained for secret in the previous video, same thing is applicable for config as well. Basically for generators, it dynamically adds this hash value every time this hash value is getting changed. Now the DB password, same thing. Now in the config map, only thing which we have to see here is the environment, which is changed to dev, whereas in production it is expected to change to prod. And the number of replicas, it is expected to change from 1 to 2, which is there. And the reference, if you see here, dynamically the appended hash value, because that is what customization, because in the base you have given as just my app config and this one, but since you are doing it in customization, that means you are giving in the resource section for the entire base. On top of that, the new config map, the value which is dynamically getting created by appending the hash, that is what it is going to append to the deployment. That was the expectation, and it is fulfilling it. I'm not going to apply this because I just use one Kubernetes node, which is of just very low resource. I don't want to, unnecessarily waste the resource and waste the time for you, because these are tested one. I mean, again, if you want this one particular, I can deploy, and the remaining is same. So kubectl apply hyphen f. So it's creating a config map, it's creating a secret, it's created a deployment. So let's check deployments, pods, secrets, and config. Oh man, my syntax issue. There you go. Two replicas are running. We have secret, we have a config map. Okay, so let's not waste the time. I'm going to delete this. So let's try the customization for prod. So in the prod, the expected value for map is prod. That is what we have mentioned here inside config generator. and then the number of patch I mean replicas was supposed to be 5. That is what we mentioned inside a patch, and it is there. So that's good, you know. This is straightforward example which we can always reference in your production or dev wherever you are implementing in your company. So that's the example for config generator. Now let's go to another example where we have defined multi-base. That means we will have multiple bases, and in overlay, how we can combine these multiple bases and reference it as one particular environment deployment. That is what we are going to see. So in this example, we have two bases. So the deployment definition for app1 is mentioned in the base hyphen app1, whereas the app1 is comes up with the nginx 1.21 container image. Number of replicas is 1, and it has app1 service as well. In the customization, these are the two files which are subjected to customize. And then similarly here, you have customization example similarly here with you the deployment and service files are subjected for customization, and inside a deployment definition we are deploying app2 with same image, and you have service definition as well here. Now in overlay you can see in the app1 what I am doing in the customization is I am referencing the app1 here. Rather than both, I'm just referencing. Of course, if I want, I can reference even base app 2 as well, but only in this example, I'm referencing base app 1, and then I'm patching it. So what I'm doing is for app 1 deployment, number of replicas, I'm changing it to 2. Now, similarly, app 2, what I'm doing, I'm referencing the app 2 and number of replicas, I'm changing it to 2. In the prod, what I'm doing, same thing, I'm referencing and I'm changing the reference to deployment to 5, and referencing app2, and I'm changing the deployment to 2. This is one way of doing. Or what we can do in the app2, if you want, you can take the references of both app1 and app2, and you can do patching as well. Even that is also possible. It's purely about the individual implementers, how they wanted to do it. So I have given the idea here is to just demonstrate the purpose. That's why I have used this approach. But you can always, I think I have one more example where I have implemented multiple batches. I think it could be this. I don't know. Let me check. Let me check and show you that as well. I think maybe the validation one I feel. Anyway, so this is let's go and test this. So let's go to customize multi-base. So now customization build overlay dev. So here with just dev, particular dev environment, it might not work. You need to give the particular one. For example, because you have a customization for both app1 and app2. So if you just build the customization for app1 here, you can see it has referenced this, and number of replicas are changing to, because that is the customization which you have defined inside your overlay for app1. So you can see here. Similarly, you can try for app2, where you are defining the number of replicas to 2. So similarly, you can try for oh sorry. Similarly, you can try for your production. You can see number of replicas have changed. Where is the prod? Yeah, there you go. It's 5. Similarly, if you do for app2, that is also expected to change to 5. That's simple. Like as I said, these are tested scripts. Tested YAMLs. You are free to use it, with whatever the customization you want to do it. The idea here is to show how you can define multiple bases and how you can reference those inside the overlays easily. I'm not going to deploy this and waste your time again. So these are totally working codes. You can always go back and try. If your build is working, means your deployment should work. Unless and until your image is not reachable, then your deploy pod might not come up, because by saying the error message image not found, but rest of the code is pretty much should work. So now after this multi-base aspect, so let's go to another example, which is basically patches. So I did mention about different patching techniques. So let's see now. So if you see here in this example, in the base, I have given a Nginx deployment with the Nginx latest image, and in the customization, only file which I'm subjected to customization is this. And then in the dev overlay, what I am doing is I am trying the one of the patching technique, which is patches JSON. So what I am doing is I am taking the definition of, so whatever you defined inside your let's open this, so that, yeah, it's a deployment kind, and API version is apps with version v1. So all those I am supplying here. Okay, group is and then version, kind is deployment, the deployment name. So the operation inside a patch, I'm directly doing a patch here. So what operation I'm doing? Replacing. What I am replacing? Spec replica. So if you go here inside a spec, the number of replicas. So that is what I am defining here. Spec replicas I'm changing from 2 to 1. One more operation I am doing, I'm replacing what? Spec template, spec container, o image. So if you see the image here, Nginx latest, that I am going to change to Nginx dev. So that is what I am defined here. This is one sort of patching, which is patching JSON format. So now let's go to overlay customization for stage. So here again, one same example I have given, number of images I'm changing it from 1 to 3, and I'm patching it specific to stage. The another patching, which is strategic merge, which I have already shown in the previous examples. So this is one one was left, which I'm demonstrating in this example. The idea here is to give you the insight knowledge of almost all the customization features. I have tried to cover almost all the customization features which are very much necessary on day-to-day basis for you. I might have missed one or two by overlooking, but as a holistic approach, I have tried my best. So yeah, let's try to build this and see whether this is working as expected. So customization patches, customization build, overlay dev. So you can see here it has changed to 1, and the image also has changed to dev. So that is what we have defined here inside dev customization. That means this JSON patch is working as expected. Similarly, if we do for production, sorry, stage, you can see number of replicas have changed from 1 to 3, and the image also changed from Nginx stage, from Nginx latest to Nginx stage. So that's what the customization we have defined. So again, I'm not going to deploy and waste your time. So you already know how to deploy. You can always go back and try that. So that's about customization patch example. Uh, what else I have? Okay, let's go back and see multiple objects reference. So in this case, we have two Kubernetes objects at Kubernetes resources, maybe the Nginx deployment and Nginx service. Now, inside a customization, I'm subjecting both this deployment and service file for customization, and then in an overlay, so you can see here we have multiple objects. So one patch is for deployment and one is for service. This is what I have mentioned in the previous videos, that it's not just one particular patch. You can apply multiple as well during the overriding in the overlay files. That is what I am going to do here. So in the customization, if you see strategic merge, this is another kind of a merge. So this is old format. The new format is just patches and then the path to that file. That's all. So still it works. I don't know with what version it stops working. So you guys need to be mindful on that. So if you are cloning my repository, you need to be a little bit mindful on that in changing this. I'll see, if I get a time sometimes this week or next week, I'll try to change that. Meanwhile, it's always, recommended to change this and just keep it to patches because it might stop working with next one or two customization version. I think it is 5.5 currently. So whenever 5.6 or 5.7 comes, it might stop working. So yeah, so now in the patching of the deployment, I'm changing the replica from 2 to 1, and I'm changing the image as well from Nginx latest to Nginx dev, and then in the service as well, I'm changing the port from 80 to 80. This is what multiple object patching is, or multiple object referencing. Here I'm not just doing for one deployment, I'm doing it for even for service as well. So that basically the multiple objects patching or reference. Similarly in prod, so that is one way. So yeah, this is the example where you can see both. I have used this is purposefully I did it to demonstrate that one place I did strategic merge patching, in another place I did JSON patching. So in this example I am doing JSON patching, you can see here, which is totally working. I'm doing patching both for service, and I'm doing patching both for deployment. So this is the example where you can see the referencing of patching in both. I think I have covered almost all. Anyway, let's try, which is multiple objects. All right. So now customize build. Let's try for Dell. There you go. So it has added the port, and then it has changed the replica to 1. It has changed this. Now I'm along with the port 80, I have exposed to port 80 as well. So here I am replacing. So if you see the difference here, in the first it will append, whereas here I am replacing it. So that's the beauty. That's customization for you. Good. So now we have demonstrated, I think, almost all different sort of techniques. So now in the next video, we will touch base on how we can leverage Helm charts with customize, and then we will conclude the customization session. Thank you so much, folks. I'll see you in next video.